Hello students. In this series of videos we're going to be studying integers. So we'll start by just talking about what integers are and how they're used. We'll then go through the four operations: add, subtract, multiply, divide with integers, and we'll finish off with looking at order of operations. Like for example, when you have both addition and subtraction or addition and multiplication, which one do you do first? So let's start by looking at a few questions involving positive and negative numbers. So the first one, I'm $5,000 in debt. How do I write this as a number? Well, because you're basically in debt, it means your amount of money is below zero. So the answer to that would be writing it as negative 5,000. So one way of looking at integers is to think of them as money. So if you have money in the bank, you've got a positive amount. If you've got a debt, then it's a negative amount. Now, for each of these questions, what I suggest you do is stop the video, have a go yourself, and then see if your answer is correct. Death Valley in the U.S. is 86 meters below sea level. So how do we write this as a number? Well, obviously, sea level will consider that to be zero. If you're above sea level, that's positive. If you're below sea level, it's negative. So the answer is you'd write their altitude as negative 86 meters. I had $200 in my bank account. I bought a guitar for $500 with a credit card. How much do I have in my bank account now? Well, I've spent more than I had, so I've gone into the negatives. So you can think of saying $200 minus $200 takes you back to zero. And then you spent an additional $300. That puts you at negative 300. So you've got a debt of $300. Which is colder, negative 5 degrees Celsius or negative 10 degrees Celsius? Well, negative 5 degrees Celsius is 5 degrees below zero. Negative 10 degrees Celsius is 10 degrees below zero. So it's colder if it's 10 degrees below zero than 5 degrees below zero. And if you put these numbers on a number line, negative 10 would be further to the left compared to negative 5. The temperature was 3 degrees Celsius. It dropped by 7 degrees. What's the temperature now? Well, a good way to do questions like this is to think, well, if it drops by 3 degrees, it takes it back to zero. And then it has to drop an additional 4 degrees. So it dropped a total of 7. So therefore, the temperature is negative 7. You can also think of a number line. You start at 3, you go to the left 7, and that puts you at negative 4. Okay, let's just do one more question and leave it at that. I'm $400 in debt. You're $100 in debt. Who's better off and by how much? Well, hopefully it's fairly obvious that if we're both in debt, whoever has the smaller debt is better off. So you're better off, and you're better off by $300. Okay, let's leave it at that and have a look at, just quickly, the integers on a number line. So a good way to study integers, especially when you're doing adding and subtracting, is to put the numbers on a number line and then figure out where the answer is by adding or subtracting the positive or negative number. So just to summarize, on a number line, zeros in this case in the middle, negative numbers go to the left, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and so on. Positive numbers go to the right, 1, 2, 3, etc. And 0 itself is neither positive nor negative. Okay, so that's the quick introduction to integers. In the next video, we'll look at ordering videos from smallest to largest.